We have the rand trading just around the 730 mark, so not holding on to that strength that we gained yesterday. I think at the best levels we were down about 722 against the dollar. Why the loss in momentum? Do you think it had anything to do with the government's moratorium on prospecting licenses for the mining industry?
It very well could have, Stephen. I mean, we've seen this mining story get messier and messier by the day, eventually culminating yesterday in an announcement that new prospecting licenses are going to be put on hold for the next 6 months. And of course, business leaders have been warning that this poses significant risk to South Africa's investment profile. And it's not surprising then that the rand has not managed to hold on to those low 720 levels.
Of course, at the same time, we had the bond auction yesterday, the weekly bond auction. Inflows still expected to be quite significant. We had huge foreign interest in that. Do you see this continuing going forward, Nomvuyo?
Stephen, it looks like what's really driving interest in the bond market at the moment are those ongoing expectations of a rate cut in September. So there is some risk to that outlook, because if retail sales that come out today surprise on the upside, that may dampen expectations of a rate cut. So at the moment, everything kind of hinges on what people expect from the MPC in September.
And of course, we do have a Reuters consensus forecast for a rise of about 7.6% in June's retail sales. That's from 4.6% in May. What are your expectations over at Standard Bank?
Stephen, we're expecting retail sales to have increased, but more moderately than consensus. We've penciled in an increase of about 5.5% for June.
Of course, this will be probably a temporary number, though, won't it? So it's difficult for the MPC to gauge when they see that figure, because we don't know what retail sales are going to do going forward after the World Cup effect starts to filter back out again.
Yeah, I think that's going to be a key consideration when analysing the data. There was obviously a lot of foreign tourists around in June, and that could have fed into the extraordinarily high numbers that people are expecting for June. And as you say, that's just going to be a temporary blip. I mean, if you look at domestic demand, it's still quite low. So I think that's going to be something that the MPC will definitely take into consideration.
Other risks for the rand going forward? Of course, we have public sector workers going on strike today. Do you think there is going to be any reaction from the currency market? Would it have to be a protracted strike for the rand to feel the effect of that?
At this stage, Stephen, I think it would have to be a protracted strike. I mean, they have said that it will be indefinite, and unions are not prepared to consider any offer other than what they've asked for. So I think, if we see the strike dragging on and into week 3, as well as the motor industry strike, if there are any new strikes that commence, I think those would all be significant risk factors for the rand.
Well, the rand failing yesterday to hold below that 724 level. And we also had the euro struggling to hold above 129 against the dollar. Would you expect the rand to settle into a new range from these levels? Where do you think it would go to?
Stephen, I think we'll have a clearer indication after today's data, but I think that the rand is probably likely to consolidate definitely below 730. But as to where to from here, I think we'll have a clearer picture after today's data.